Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mistakes Were Made. This is a channel that I created to document my family's progress with debt reduction, and we are at the dining room table again. And today we are going to talk about tax refund spending. So, this year has been actually a fair windfall for us for taxes. Very, very unexpected, very unusual. And I think the reason for that is in my state, Oregon, we have a process, I guess you could call it, called the kicker. And I don't know all the mechanisms of it, but essentially, if there is a budget surplus for the state, there's something, I think, in our constitution, in our state constitution, that says that that surplus needs to be returned back to the people that paid the taxes. And so it comes back to you on your as a tax refund or goes against anything that you owe, and it's called a kicker. Well, this year, I guess the kicker was like very large for most people. And so, where you might get a refund of a couple of $100, this time for some folks, it was a couple to a few $1,000s. So I'm counting that as very, very unusual. It's not something that I would expect to see every tax season. I don't remember if last year we had any kind of kicker or not. If we did, it was fairly insignificant. But this year we definitely had a nice one, both myself and my partner, and so it has facilitated a few things that we are very, very excited about. We will start I don't know that we'll go low to high, but we'll start with after we had figured out the allocation, and we have already allocated all of this, so it is active and has happened. We still had $11 after meeting the goals or responsibilities that we had as higher priorities, and so we put that extra $11 to our Discover card. And what we are going to do is, as if you are familiar with the channel, any extra money we have at the end of the month when we do our budget, and then of course in actuality we are dividing up between savings and debt. 25% to savings, 75% to debt. Our main focus is the Bank of America card because that one has a 0% promo that is going to expire the soonest of all of our cards. That said, I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll kind of treat it the way that we were treating the savings process, where we would move the money over in denominations, I guess, of ending in $0, $25, $50, $75. Instead of $238, we would just do $225. So for the debt thing, I think that's what we're gonna do. And so any extra, so again, if we had $238, we would do $225 to debt to the Bank of America card, and then that extra, I should have done the math, $13 will go to Discover. And the reason why I'm picking Discover is because it's the only card we have left that still has an interest rate that applies to it. Everything else is on a 0% interest promo. So that's why we decided to put the $11 there. Next thing was my partner is wanting to get a new recliner because the dogs have very much destroyed the couch that's down there, and we didn't want to go and buy a whole new couch because though they're not puppies anymore, we do still have one that likes to do a digging action before he settles down to curl up and sleep or lie down and stuff like that. So we don't want to chance it. We'll keep the broken down one for as long as it needs to be there, but he would like to have a recliner that's actually comfortable to sit in and stuff like that. So we put $100 to the recliner. And some people might say, well, you got this debt, why don't you put all of the money towards debt instead of, parsing it out to other things. And that's a fair question, and that may be the path that other people want to go down. I firmly believe that, yes, debt is our number one priority. What's the word I'm looking for? Quality of life is also going to be very important. So shunting $100, $200, even $300 over to, a long-term need, in this particular case, I don't think is going against what our plans are. I really think taking care of your mental health while you're on a debt reduction and elimination path is very key. And so that's why you will never, ever, ever, ever see me shaming or putting down somebody who has made a decision with their budget to handle things that aren't specific to debt, especially if they're not going into more debt to do that. And so to me, a tax refund, it is a situation outside of the budget. But even if it wasn't, I mean, if you decide for a month to budget, $100 to go get your nails done, to get a massage, I don't even know. What do people do to take care of themselves? That's probably a terrible question for myself to ask, because it kind of gives you a little insight into the fact that I don't really do a lot of things for myself. But, if there are things that bring you joy and that give you comfort, if you are being intentional about it, if you are being wise about it, and you're not overindulging, I see nothing wrong with shunting a little bit of money in that direction. The point is that you are making an active decision to do that, and understanding that the ramifications is that's a little bit less money going towards the debt that you're trying to get rid of. Nothing wrong with that. And even if you want to make that a regular option in your budget, nothing wrong with that. But again, be prepared and make sure it's not something that you are going to regret later. I think that's a big piece as well. You don't want to be 2, 3, 4 months down the line and saying, oh man, I wish I would have used that $2,000 for X instead. So anyway, I will get off my soapbox and we'll get back to how we have divvied out this money. So then the next item is we have moved, speaking of savings, $1,000 to our savings safety net. This is a safety net for when my job goes away. We have already met the goal of 6 months that we wanted to meet, but just to be on the safe side, we are still moving money over, just not as vigorously. Of course, this is a larger chunk of money that's not expected, so we're going to put a little bit aside. I would say if something were to come up that required extra money, I would be moderately comfortable using the overage in the savings to help pay for that. I wouldn't want to go any lower than the 6 months that we were targeting to save, and I would much rather not touch it at all, but this could now become essentially a secondary emergency fund. Again, that's not the goal, but it could be something that we utilize. All right, we are going to do one of the things that I am most excited about, and that is $750 is going to the mom loan. And we are going to actually do this together. So let's see here. We've got 50, 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 50, 400, 50, 500, 50, 600, 50, 700, and $50. And again, if you've been following my channel, you know what this means. If this is the first video you've seen of ours, welcome. Please enjoy this moment with me. I am so excited because this means we have officially paid off our first debt. Now, yes, We have an Amazon card. We have a United, what was the other one? US Bank card that we technically zeroed out, but I am not considering that a paid off debt because all we did was we moved the debt to something else. And honestly, we end up creating a little bit extra debt because of the balance transfer fee. So, yes, those are at zero balance, but that money has not gone away. So, this is officially our first payoff. All right, so if we add that to the pile, we now have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 58, 59, 50, 1000, 50, 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 50, 400, 50, 500, 50, 600, 50, 700, 50, 800, 50, 900, 50, $2,000. It feels very, very good to be at this point and to be able to say, not just in general that we've paid a debt off, but that we are finally closing out the loan that my mom gave to us. She has been incredible about the time it's taken us to pay back the money that she lent to us. Overall, it was about 17 something $1,000, and it was to help us bridge a gap in the money that we had to do some remodeling on our house. And so I'm very, very, very excited. After we do this, finish this video, there's a couple of errands I need to do. I have to do payroll for my people at work, and then we are going to go pop over to her house and give her this money. And I think it's going to come in handy because she and my nephew have, at least for right now, have plans to do a road trip to Alaska. So I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm certain, we got more dog hair, that this will be helpful for that process. But yay! Our first official payoff of one of our debt items. So that was $750. What is left is also something I'm considering. It's not quite a milestone, but it is an enormous boost to getting us to our next main goal. And that is we are putting, and well, we have put $6,000 towards the Bank of America credit card. This is huge. This is significant because, let me put this here in big letters. I'm doing 5 exclamation points. That means we only have $1,950 left to pay on this card. Between the two of these situations, I am so grateful that we had this opportunity. It would absolutely not be something that we would be so close to achieving without the tax refund, without the kicker situation that's going on. We would still have a much longer road to be dealing with the Bank of America card. We might have been in a position that we could pay off the mom loan, but this piece is absolutely, we would not be where we are. So it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to be writing this down and sharing that with you. So overall, we were lucky enough to have $7,861 for our tax refund between the two of us. And again, we don't have any kids, so this amount is extremely unlikely to happen again. So I feel like we are taking full advantage of it because we are applying the majority towards debt. We have put a big chunk into savings, but we're also using a little bit for stuff that's outside of that realm, outside of the debt realm. All right, well, I'm just so glad that I was able to share this with you guys. I really appreciate everybody who's been following along, and for those of you that are new, welcome. I'm very happy to have you on board. Please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.